This is a complex document that typically costs a lot of money to execute. That looks like this. And beneath it is a heuristic with all of this science and philosophy. There are 5 steps. Along with it is a whiteboarding exercise that was force ranked, and the whiteboard imagery was converted into the tables that you see where we are ranking, force ranking reasons. And as it goes on, we identify top claims and then try to find evidentials. And there is our ideal customer. There is the beginning of the argument. There is the evidentials, and on it goes. Now, my point for you is that was all done in the old school manual research way of the past. Enter today. And instead of doing all of that, we can get to the same outcome much faster for a fraction of the cost if you will pay attention real closely to the changes in the AI prompts that I'm going to put in front of you. Here's a new prompt, folks. It leverages the essential prompt. It is this prompt developed through our research here that has some fields you can insert. I want you to notice that I'm using the model you've seen before, and I'm asking this question. If I'm the ideal customer, why should I purchase this offer rather than a competing offer? Now, to do that, I've got to insert my customer research, and you've been doing that in the previous sessions. That's what you see in red. If you don't have a web page, skip the URL. So let me show you this prompt refined with a real example. For those of you working through MEC 200 with us, we're using this not-for-profit that's producing enormous benefits around the world. And this is the prompt generated. And you'll notice I inserted the ideal customer profile developed through AI and McLab's methodology in previous sessions. It was inserted here so that we could get a best answer. For GPT to give me an answer to that question on its own, I want to be very clear about ideal customers. With that prompt, in a series of conversations in GPT, which I'm sharing with you right here, because I do every prompt I give you, I test repeatedly so that we're not just giving you something that we think looks good but doesn't work. And here is the actual reply that we got. So we use this prompt. We're on step B. We studied this example. This is the prompt with the customer research. This is step C. We're on step D. We are looking at a reply. So look, without any help is the acknowledgement from GPT that it understands what we're asking. By the way, I've asked it to respond in the style of Dan Burstein of Marketing Sherpa. I don't know if you noticed that, but I figured GPT has a lot of content in order to do that with. And here is the single paragraph answer. Now, if you think you can just grab this and paste it on your web page and you're done, think again. That's why we do this type of reasoning. But the single paragraph version is sort of a complete version based on that profile. It's a very comprehensive profile. And then I asked it in the prompt, and you'll see it in the actual nature of the prompt. The output says in a single paragraph and an outline, a comprehensive outline. Now, here is an outline, and all this outline is summarizes the reasons you should purchase this pet bed developed with organic materials in developing nations by artisans who are being lifted out of poverty through Teresa's not-for-profit mission. It is actually quite good. I would not call this an almost or a miss. It's ready for refinement, but it is quite good. So you got that piece done. But now it becomes time to take your reasons and start to force rank them and prioritize them. And so you're going to see there's a small chart here. And what you will do is you would put your reason on your own, intuitively. By the way, that's okay. You have thought about your product. You've been involved with the market. We're going to bring data and science before we're done today. But right now, you put your reason in and you think, how appealing is this on a scale of 1 to 5? And then you ask, how exclusive is this on a scale of 1 to 5? By the way, when we deliver this through the lab to a research partner, here's an example of how it looks in the codex. And the partner who built this, and that partner has been on these calls, this is a hard, fast number, saw 321% increase in conversion after this exercise was applied to their funnel. That's real, folks. That's real. I mean, verified, all the statistics, every piece, and then certified by McLab scientists. So let's keep going. Now comes the meat of what we need to do today. These steps are going to bring a depth in your thinking that you may not be able to achieve on your own. You might have had to bring in experts from like our group or somewhere, but now you can do it yourself. You ready to walk through this? I just want to give you a disclaimer. This is going to be intense, but not too intense. And I'd like you to be able to follow with me so that we get to our best outcome. First of all, there's a chart here that simply identifies your reasons, and you pick 3 of your top competitors and you list theirs in here. That chart helps you sort of bring everything together as you start to leverage the AI prompts and things we're going to do next. Then let's move to the next step, which is to identify your competitor set. Now, I can tell you, most of the time when I ask people this, they know their competitors, but they often miss something important because your real competitor is anybody else that could be getting that dollar rather than you. And it may not be the people you think. All right, well, then here's a prompt that uses GPT, and let's just try it. I'll just want to suggest something for you, however. The first time I did it, it worked perfectly. The next 3 times, not us, but GPT had a problem. I'm going to go to GPT right now. I want to show you something by clicking New Chat. I'm going to go back to my notes. I'm going to take this prompt. I'm going over to GPT, but I got to do something that you've got to see. I've just pasted it. It's ready to do work for me. But I need to go to 4. I need to select Browse with Bing. And then it can access the internet and try to find my competitor sets. The prompt is going to also, it's really interesting because I don't say it's unbiased, but it's a completely different party identifying your competitors. And it often yields rich insights. So we've set it up so that we can browse with Bing. So we're going to now hit this and see if it works this time. But if it doesn't, I have my earlier reply, and I'll just let it run for a moment as it starts to work. So there it goes, working to get an answer for me. And I just will see how that comes out as it continues. Look at this, folks. Per the prompt, it's giving the name, the URL, the product or service, the key features, the price, the average customer rating. Look at this. Remember, we're trying to pivot a business that sold handcrafted baskets using now pet products built in these developing nations. Look, I have the average customer rating. I have the price of the product. I have key features. I have the nature of the service. I have the URL. Folks, how much would you pay an agency to do this for you before? How much would you waste time with your own employees doing this before? This analysis serves as a springboard to carve a unique position for your product in the market. That's the power of these prompts we're giving you. It really knows what to do, and its outputs are much richer. This is the Mech Labs methodology. Nothing special about it, but the commands are special, and it ends every prompt using this methodology with these commands. So if I'm not sure on this, I can just hit one of the commands. I can have it argue for itself. I can challenge it. I can do many things there. Now, see, GPT just had a network error. However, I got all my information here, so you can see it. And let's go back over here now. Now, this is the output I received in my earlier test of this, and it goes on to listing these pieces, going over rankings. It gives me this, and it gives me these commands. Now, I have just figured out who my competitor set are. I have got a pretty good overview of what they're doing compared to my proposed product offer. So what do I do next? Well, let's go to step D. We're going to analyze for appeal. Now, anybody familiar with our methodology knows something, and that is that the power of your offer will be generated in the overlap between appeal and exclusivity. You can easily find a product that has lots of appeal. Let's say online books. Billions are sold every day at Amazon. But where do you get exclusivity if you go start an Amazon site tomorrow? Well, that's a little bit tougher. It's easy to get exclusivity. When I teach this, I often say, look, I could design a pen that has a MP3 player and stick it in my ear so I could listen to music when I'm not writing on my whiteboard. But who's going to buy it? I'm exclusive. But how strong is the appeal? We'll come back to this in a few minutes. In fact, I'll share something with you real rich now that comes down here, but I'm going to go there now instead because I think it'll bring you greater understanding. This is a copy of my journal. This is appeal. This is exclusivity. These are reasons, and some are appeal and some are exclusive, but I'm looking for the ones in the shading of the Venn diagram. That will help me identify the most powerful way I have to get traction in the market. This simple diagram says it all. And every one of you need to take your reasons, cluster them like this, and in the overlap area, discover the magic. That's the high profit zone. That's the zone Warren Buffett buys in. I could show you this in data. I've studied it. He didn't understand our methodology, but he understood its impact when it hits the symmetry of a financial statement or a balance sheet. And I'll go all the way back to See's Chocolate, one of the first investment I studied. See's Chocolate fit right there. He saw enough reasons in that shaded space of the overlap to justify his investment. And it was a wise decision. Let's keep going. The next fun piece, which is to me, let's get GPT to analyze appeal. So now I'm going to go over here In blue are the way I have inserted business-specific information, and it's all clear in the prompt. So I'm a professor of marketing at Harvard. That's what this agent is. I'm telling GPT that's what it is. Its goal is to develop a superior value proposition for my product, which is a handcrafted pet bed made from organic materials by our artisans from developing nations. I want you to help me accomplish this task. Analyze the offer, identify the top 5 elements that drive its appeal, compare and contrast the elements of each competitor, suggest ways I could position my offer against these competitors. What can I do to provide superior, even more appealing solution? What dimensions of value do I need to meet, and what dimensions of value can I potentially exceed? Is there a new technology? Do you see the richness of that prompt? It's not slapped up there, folks. But I want to show you that we placed this in GPT, and this is the response that we received. Here it is. Competitive analysis identified top 5 elements driving the appeal factor. So here we go. You'll see that table here, and it has listed the appeal element 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here they are, and across the brands. And then I added something that might be confusing for you, but in the original prompt, which is right here, under output, which is very important. The style is Daniel Burstein, the marketing Sherpa. That might contrast with marketing professor at Harvard. I thought about that. I would just test that. But I did it because I want you to think like a professor and I want you to write like Dan. Does that make sense? Because he's clear. And so with that in mind, it says, I want you to first produce a highly detailed table, next an email that translates your answer into a compelling sales letter emphasizing my appeal factors. Now, you might really make a mistake here and think I want a sales letter that I can send to my audience. No, I don't. I want GPT to be forced to take its reasons and appeal factors and the analysis I asked it for and to give me a sales letter where I can evaluate what does that really feel like when I try to use what your answer does for me in the market. And it lists its sources because that's what the prompt that we use tells it to do. It predicts its accuracy and it lists its commands. However, I found this to be really helpful. Eco-friendly, luxury materials, vegan materials, customizable, smart tech, social cause, limited edition, award-winning design. This is good stuff, guys. This is not weak. This is a real value. Celebrity endorsement, 5-year warranty, easy returns, free shipping, 24. You see what's going on here? Don't think it's like dead simple. This is valuable. I'm looking for ways to reach you with appeal, to get into your motivation. However, we're not done. I use a command next. This is really fun.